Welcome back to Book Break. In this video I'm going to give you a whistle-stop tour of the many British literary awards there are out there. There are endless, so I have not fit them all into this video, but I've tried to cram in as many as I can because there's so many interesting different awards. I'll start by quickly covering the ones that you probably already know, starting with, most obviously, the Booker Prize, which is the leading literary award in the English-speaking world. This prize is given to the book chosen by the judges to be the best English language novel of the year, and it must be published in the UK and Ireland. Winning the Booker is huge. Being shortlisted or longlisted is already a massive achievement. And the book from the Macmillan list to most recently win the Booker Prize was Shaggy Bane, which won in 2020. This is the story of a young gay boy growing up in Glasgow with an alcoholic mother. It was a very exciting day for everyone in the company when this won the Booker Prize. In 2018, I just wanted to quickly mention, it was the 50th anniversary, and so the Booker Prize had a special one-off award given to the book chosen by the public to be the best book from the 5 decades of the Booker Prize, and the winner there was The English Patient by Michael Ondaatje. So that book won the Golden Man Booker Prize. There's also the Booker International Prize, which is given to a book translated into English and then published in the UK or Ireland. Heaven by Mieko Kawakami is on the 2022 shortlist, and the winner will be announced later in May. This is a story about the friendship between 2 Japanese school children who are both the victims of bullying. The US equivalent of the Booker Prize is the National Book Awards. That's another really big prestigious award, not to be confused with the British Book Awards, which have previously been known as the National Book Awards. And just to confuse you even more, the British Book Awards are often referred to as the Nibbies. They have previously been known as the National Book Awards, the Galaxy National Book Awards, the Specsavers National Book Awards. I think that's all of its iterations. In the British Book Awards, there are a few different categories given out by judges, and then from the winner of each of the categories, the public votes on the Book of the Year. And this year, Luster is shortlisted in the Debut Fiction of the Year category. This is a novel about a young black woman whose life becomes increasingly complicated when she gets involved with a married man. There's a similar format for the Costa Book Awards, previously known as the Whitbread Book Awards. It does get confusing, all of this name changing. Again, this is divided into categories, and then from the winner of each category there is a Book of the Year that is chosen. And a really lovely prize-winning book from our list is The Skylark's War by Hilary Mackay, which won the Children's Book of the Year in 2018. This one is a story about a family growing up against the backdrop of the First World War. The Books in My Bag Awards are quite fun and unusual because these are chosen and curated by bookshops, and then the prizes are voted on by readers. This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay won in a couple of categories the year that this came out. And the final big one that a lot of people will have heard of, even if you don't follow much literary news, is the Women's Prize for Fiction, previously known as the Orange Prize or the Bailey's Women's Prize. This one is always huge on BookTube, so you may have seen it all over there. People often make reaction videos to the long list and the short list, try and read as many of the short list as they can. We had a book on the long list this year, The Exhibitionist by Charlotte Mendelssohn, which is a novel about an incredibly dysfunctional family in the build-up to an art exhibition being put on by the father of the family. And all of this is going on while the wife has to deal with a ton of hostility from her husband because of her own artistic success. As I said, I'm focusing on British awards in this video, otherwise we will be here for years. But just while I finish up on the really big famous ones, I just thought I should mention, because they're so big, there is a US prize, the Pulitzer Prize, which has various different categories in journalism and the arts, including a fiction prize. And most prestigiously of all, there is the Nobel Prize for Literature, which is a Swedish award given to an author for their entire body of work. So those are probably the main literary awards that you already know about, but I'm looking at a list in front of me of almost 100 further literary awards. So let's see how many of those I can tell you about, and as quickly as possible. The Folio Prize is a fiction prize that was brought in kind of to rival the Booker. So this was set up by people that thought the Booker Prize was leaning more and more towards popular fiction and away from literary fiction. So you'll find that the Folio Prize is very literary. The Geoffrey Faber Memorial Prize is given to a writer under 40, and this one is interesting and unusual because it alternates every year between going to fiction and to poetry. The Jalak Prize goes to a writer of colour, British or British resident. The Goldsmiths Prize goes to fiction that breaks the mould of what a novel could look like. So for example, in the most recent awards, A Shock by Keith Ridgway was shortlisted, and this was a really interesting book that kind of blurred the line between a novel and a short story collection. The James Tait Black Prize is Britain's oldest literary award, and these are awarded in fiction, biography and drama, and the winners are chosen by the Professor of English at the University of Edinburgh. And once again in 2022, A Shock is on the shortlist. The McKitterick Prize is awarded to a first novel by a writer over 40, so you can calm down, the race is off if you want to win that. Though on the other hand, the Somerset Maugham Award is awarded to a writer under 30. And this one was specifically set up to give young writers an opportunity to improve their writing through exposure to other countries. So the prize money for that is to be spent on foreign travel. In 2021, Graham Armstrong was one of the winners of this award for The Young Team, which is a semi-autobiographical novel about gang culture in Scotland. Then there are some genre-specific ones. So in the sci-fi fantasy world, you may have heard of the American Hugo Awards, which are probably the biggest sci-fi fantasy awards worldwide, but we have some British awards in this category as well. The Arthur C. Clarke Award is given to the best sci-fi novel of the year, and in 2016 they had a special 30th anniversary awards ceremony, and the prize that year went to Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. There's the British Fantasy Award, the British Science Fiction Association Award, the David Gemmell Award that goes to fantasy, and then ones that I really enjoy are the Kitschies. So these go to speculative fiction, and they have different categories of prizes, each called tentacles. I love these. So for example, The City in the City by China Miéville, which has two cities that occupy the same space at the same time, once won the Red Tentacle for Best Novel. In the crime thriller category, there are a series of awards given out by the British Crime Writers Association. I'm going to have to read these to make sure I get them all right. So the Gold Dagger goes to the overall Best Crime Novel of the Year, and there is also a non-fiction Gold Dagger. The Ian Fleming Steel Dagger goes to a thriller novel. The New Blood Dagger goes to a debut crime novel. There's a historical dagger, an international dagger, a short story dagger. The Diamond Dagger goes to a crime writer and is awarded for their whole body of work. So that's probably the highest honour for a career in crime writing, and Anne Cleeves once won this award. And there is also, I love the name of this one, The Dagger in the Library. This also goes to a crime writer, but it is chosen by librarians. Similarly, the Historical Writers Association give out their own awards, and they are called crowns. So there is the Gold Crown for fiction, there is a non-fiction crown, and there is a debut crown. Then there are non-fiction specific awards. So the Baillie Gifford Prize, which was previously known as the Samuel Johnson Prize, those name changes are added again. This is given to the best non-fiction book of the year, and most recently in 2021, it was won by Empire of Pain by Patrick Radden Keefe, which is a really hard-hitting look at the opioid crisis. The Penn Hessel Tiltman Prize is given specifically to historical non-fiction. In 2017, that was won by Black and British by David Olusoga, which is a look at the forgotten history of Black British people. There are loads of poetry prizes, including the T.S. Eliot Poetry Prize, which is a very prestigious one. The Ted Hughes Poetry Prize goes to poems that push the borders of what poetry can look like. And there is also the National Poetry Competition, which is for previously unpublished poetry, and this gets entries from all over the world. In the children's category, the Yoto Carnegie Greenaway Awards are the UK's longest running prizes for children's books, and these are awarded by librarians. So the Carnegie Award is given to the best book for children and young people, and the Greenaway Award is given out based on the illustration. And the most recent 2021 winner of the Greenaway Award is Starbird by Sharon King-Chai, and you can see why. The illustrations are incredible. There are quite a few awards given out specifically to first novels. So for example, the Authors Club First Novel Award is given out by members of the Authors Club. This was once won by one of my favourite books, Trumpet by Jackie Kay, which is a novel about the aftermath of the death of a trans jazz musician. This one won that prize back in 1998. Ever since then, I trust their taste. The Betty Trask Award is given out to a first novel by a writer under the age of 35, and this has been won by Macmillan authors 4 times, I believe, including by Edwards and Albin for his novel Nevermind, which is the first in the Patrick Melrose series. You may have seen the amazing TV show with Benedict Cumberbatch. And the awards just keep getting more and more niche. The Bollinger Everyman Woodhouse Prize, named after P.G. Wodehouse, is a prize for comic literature. This next one's my favourite. The Barker Book Awards celebrate dogs in literature. I had never heard of that until researching this video, so it's worth it just for that. The Bread and Roses Award is given to radical left-wing writing. Edward Stanford Prize is for travel writing. The Financial Times and McKinsey Business Book of the Year is pretty self-explanatory. The Ondaatje Prize is for writing that evokes the spirit of a place. The Orwell Prize is for political writing. The list goes on. Oh, and you'll also get bookshops organising their own awards. So there is the Waterstones Book of the Year, the Foyles Book of the Year, the Blackwell's Book of the Year. Is anyone else completely exhausted? This is not even all of them, but I'm going to have to draw the line somewhere. So let me know in the comments below which of those prizes you had never heard of before but you now think you're going to follow because they sound interesting to you. I will also link to a video I made before on the best prize-winning books you must read. So do click through for some more reading inspiration, and I'll see you next time.